Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation.
Have you ever noticed how, like, a song from your past can just, like, totally take you back to a certain moment?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's a power of sound, right?
Yeah.
And especially voices, they can really, like, transport us. And today we're diving into a new musical that's doing some really cool things with this idea.
Oh, cool.
It's called Grayscale World, and I'm excited to unpack it with you today.
Sounds interesting.
It's coming out of Providence, Rhode Island.
Huh, okay.
I'm intrigued.
Glad to hear it.
The themes it tackles are super broad, like design, creativity, innovation, and hope.
It's a really ambitious project, for sure. They're trying to do a lot with it.
Yeah. And then there's this whole sound-alike thing, which is what really caught my attention.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that makes it stand out.
Yeah. So tell me more about that. Like, how does it actually work?
Well, basically, they have singers who sound just like famous singers from all different eras.
Okay, so, like, who are we talking about here?
Well, your sources mentioned Jonathan Groff, Patti LuPone, Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. I love them.
Right. And it gets even more interesting. They also have sound-alikes for, like, Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby.
Whoa, hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, and Bing Crosby, like, in the same musical.
It's pretty wild, right?
That's insane.
I know, right? Imagine hearing those voices all woven together with new original music.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to see the appeal here.
It's definitely something different.
So how do they pull this off? I mean, finding singers who can actually sound like those icons must be incredibly difficult.
It's definitely a challenge, but they seem to have found some amazing talent.
And, like, composing music that actually suits those voices, that's another layer of complexity.
Exactly. The composers have to be so versatile, being able to write in all these different styles.
It's like they're channeling the spirits of these musical giants in a way.
That's a great way to put it.
So this whole idea of a grayscale world, it's so intriguing.
Yeah. What do you make of it?
Well, I keep coming back to the name itself, grayscale. It's like a blend of black and white, right?
Right. It's not one or the other. It's somewhere in between.
So maybe it's a metaphor for the whole musical, this fusion of familiar and new.
I think you're onto something there.
And maybe it even reflects the themes they're exploring, like the complexities of creativity and the human experience.
Absolutely. It could be about the challenges and triumphs of the creative process, like the constant evolution of art.
Yeah. Like, nothing is ever truly black or white. It's all shades of gray.
And that's where the real beauty lies, I think.
Okay, so we've talked about the sound-alikes, the themes, the title, but there's more, right?
Yeah, you actually sent me a couple of links to check out.
Oh, yeah, the website and radio station.
Exactly. Grayscaleworld.com and gsworldradio.com.
What can we find there?
Well, the website is a great place to start. It gives you a really good overview of the musical and its themes.
Cool. And what about the radio station?
That seems to be more behind-the-scenes stuff, like interviews with the composers and performers.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I'd love to hear their perspective on how this whole thing came together.
Oh, too. I bet they have some great stories.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, but I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
There's definitely a lot more to discover.
This grayscale world, it sounds like it has the potential to be something truly special.
I agree. It's not just another musical. It's a statement.
Yeah, it's like a celebration of creativity and the enduring power of music to connect with us on such a deep level.
It definitely makes you think about the possibilities of musical theater and how it can evolve.
It challenges our expectations of what's possible, and it reminds us that inspiration can come from anywhere.
Even from the past.
Exactly, and that by blending the familiar with the new, we can create something truly meaningful and innovative. Well said. So to wrap things up for our listeners, I encourage you to check out Grayscale World for yourselves.
Yeah, dive into those links. Explore the website. Listen to the radio station.
See what resonates with you, because this musical, it's more than just entertainment. It's a conversation starter.
It's a journey into the gray areas of art and life.
And who knows, maybe it'll spark some creative ideas of your own.
That would be awesome.
Thanks for diving in with me today. This was a really cool one to explore.
My pleasure. I always love talking about these kinds of innovative projects.
Until next time, keep exploring those gray areas, folks.
And keep those creative sparks flying.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation. Grayscaleworld.com.
Okay, so get this. We're diving deep into something pretty cool today.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Grayscale World.
Grayscale World.
And it's a musical.
Wow.
But it's not just any musical. It's like this amazing blend of design and creativity, all set against the backdrop of Providence, Rhode Island.
That's a cool combo.
Right. And what's really got us buzzing is this announcement that just dropped about the musical. They've secured copyright for 18 original songs.
18. Wow, they're serious.
Yeah, it seems like things are really moving and shaking over there. I mean, imagine this. We're like right here watching this whole thing unfold as it goes from just an idea to something real.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe someday this thing will hit the stage or even the big screen.
I know, right?
Okay.
So you with me so far.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's super interesting to me is how tied in this whole thing is to Providence.
Yeah, it's known as the creative capital of New England.
Right.
And it feels like this musical is really leaning into that vibe, celebrating all the innovation and energy that's happening over there.
Exactly. It's not just a show that happens to be set in Providence.
Yeah.
It's about Providence.
Totally.
And that really comes through even just looking at the song titles,
Oh, yeah.
Like, check this out, Design Dreams, like Cotton Candy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. I mean, come on, how can you not get your imagination fired up just hearing that?
I know. I'm picturing like sets made of cotton candy clouds and costumes all swirly and colorful.
Exactly. And there are others that are just as evocative, like Rhode Island Women of Wonder and A Facade. So odd.
Okay, those are cool. I mean, Rhode Island Women of Wonder, that's got to be about all the amazing female designers and artists from the area, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking that too, especially with RASD right there, the Rhode Island School of Design. I mean, they have a crazy history of women pushing boundaries in the arts.
Totally. I'm really curious if the musical will like shine a light on those stories, the struggles these women face, their triumphs, their impact on design.
Right. That's what I'm wondering too. It adds like a whole other dimension to the musical.
Absolutely. It makes it about real people and their passions, not just some abstract idea of design.
And then you've got A Facade. So odd. I mean, what's that? Makes me think about the whole nature of creativity itself. Yeah.
Is it always pretty and perfect? Or can it be weird, even a little disturbing?
Right. Like maybe this song digs into the shadows of the creative process, the messy parts that don't always fit the mold.
Oh, that'd be cool to see how they pull that off.
Yeah. What I really like is how they're building a whole community around this thing.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, they've got this podcast called Grayscale World Radio.
Cool.
Where they talk about the inspiration for the music and like give you a sneak peek into their process.
That's smart. It's like they're inviting everyone to be part of the journey from the very beginning.
Exactly. And if you want to go even deeper, they have a whole website.
Oh, wow.
With tons more info. And get this, there's even a section about corporate sponsorships.
No way. So you could actually get involved in making this musical happen?
Yep, potentially.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, so to sum it all up for everyone, we have this musical in the works. And it's not just about putting on a show. It's about celebrating creativity, honoring the spirit of Providence, and maybe even uncovering some hidden histories.
I love it. And it makes you wonder how a grayscale world, as the title suggests, will come alive with color through music and storytelling, right?
Right.
I mean, will it be a big, bright celebration, or will it explore the ups and downs, the complexities of being creative?
I guess we'll have to see.
I can't wait to find out.
Me neither. I'm already hooked. Make sure you guys check out the Grayscale World website and podcast. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you at the opening night.
Wouldn't that be something?
Okay, until next time.
See ya!
Bye.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation. GrayscaleWorld.com.
Opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. Where can I find them? So even when the road is rough and the future seems unsure, I'll keep adjusting, keep on changing until my dreams become my cure.
A sailor navigating a ship through a storm, having to constantly adjust the sails to kind of harness the wind.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. It's like this like constantly changing environment.
Yeah.
And they have to be like adaptable.
Yeah.
Flexible.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to that idea of like, the world being rough.
Right.
And the future being uncertain. Like, you have to be able to adjust and change with those circumstances.
Right. And that kind of reminds me of the title of the song, too, Winds of Hope.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it's like the wind is like this
Yeah.
uncontrollable force.
Oh, right.
But the sailor can adjust the sails to kind of...
To use that wind
Yeah.
to their advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To get to where they need to go. And then we get to this line that's repeated a couple times in the song. You can't change the wind, just your sails.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. What do you think about that one?
I think it's really powerful because it's saying a lot of times we can't control what's happening around us, but we can control how we respond, you know?
Yeah. So it's like focusing on what you can control.
Exactly. Instead of what you can't.
Right. And like adjusting your fails to take advantage of the situation. Like even if it's not the ideal situation, you can still find a way to make it work for you. And I think that's a really powerful message.
It is.
And I think it's something that we can all apply to our own lives.
I agree.
You know, whether it's at work or in our personal relationships or
absolutely
whatever. What do you think about the imagery? The imagery in the song?
I think the imagery is really strong.
Yeah. Like, for example, there's this one line that talks about the city's maze of challenges. And then it contrasts that with finding opportunities, like a shore.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting contrast.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's saying that sometimes opportunities can be found in the most unexpected places, you know?
Like we often think of the city as this place of opportunity.
Right.
Like in this song, it's portrayed as like this confusing, difficult place. Yeah. And then the shore is like this place of peace and arrival. Like you've kind of reached your destination.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like maybe the opportunities aren't always where we expect them to be. Maybe they're in these like quiet moments of reflection or like when we change our perspective. What do you think about towards the end of the song? There's this shift from external forces to internal strength.
Oh, yeah. What part are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of the lines. With sails adjusted, hearts our guide, will weather storms, and in hope abide.
Oh, yeah. That's a powerful part.
Right. It's like before this part of the song, it's all about like reacting to circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
These lines come in. And it's like, it's all about inner strength and hope.
Yeah. I think it's suggesting that we can use our hearts as our guides, you know, to trust our intuition, our values, to help us navigate the tough times.
I see. So it's like finding that inner compass to guide you.
Yeah.
The world feels chaotic. So what do you think are like the key themes of this song?
I think the key themes are resilience, adapting to change, seeking opportunity, and sometimes unexpected places. And I think the power of it.
Internal hope. Yeah, I think you're right. Those are all really important themes.
They are.
And I think they're things that we can all relate to, you know, no matter what's going on in our lives.
Absolutely.
So as you go about your day to day, think about this. What winds are influencing your life right now? And how can you adjust your sails to navigate them? Maybe you need to make a change. Or maybe you just need to see things from a different perspective. And until next time, happy sailing.
Opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. Where can I find them? So even when the road is rough and the future seems unsure, I'll keep adjusting, keep on changing until my dreams become my cure. They said to lead straight, but in the city's maze of challenges, I found a twist of fate. Opportunities like I was sure seem to vanish in the haze, but Kip's words stay with me, guiding me through these days. You can't change the wind, just your sails like a guide. By always changing course, oh, you'll find the strength inside. In Providence, that's where dreams sometimes divide. We'll find a way back to shore with the winds of hope beside. So even when the road is rough and the future seems unsure, I'll keep adjusting, keep on changing till my dreams become my cure. By the whispers in the billing, by the crash of Cody's play, we'll rise above, we'll find a light and design a brighter day. You can't change the wind, oh, this your sails like a guide. By always changing course, oh, you'll find the strength inside. In Providence, that's where dreams sometimes divide. We'll find a way back to shore the winds of hope beside. In this city, in this fight, we'll persevere through day and night. With sails adjusted, hearts our guide, we'll weather storms and hope abide.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation. GrayscaleWorld.com.
It's just a big grayscale world. It'll always be that way. No matter what you say.
Ever imagine the world just gray?
Yeah.
Like everything in black and white all the time.
Yeah, a little grim, wouldn't it be?
Totally. And that's kind of the vibe we're diving into today. We're looking at this piece, A Grayscale World, put out by Gracie Media on YouTube. And, well, it gets right into that feeling of wanting more than just black and white.
I'm intrigued. More than just the visuals, I bet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this one part, the lyrics hit hard. They say, it's just a big grayscale world. It'd always be that way no matter what you say. And honestly, it's kind of bleak.
Always being the key word there, right? Like that feeling of being stuck.
It's like inescapable or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the music itself is saying, nope, this is it. Get used to gray.
The repetition really drills that in, doesn't it? It's like a musical representation of feeling stagnant, a rut you can't get out of.
And then there's this plea, almost desperate, for something different. Makes me think about like individuality being stifled or something.
Absolutely. There's that yearning for something beyond the ordinary, something unique to you. And that really resonates these days, don't you think?
Totally. I mean, think about it. The pressure to fit in, especially online, it's everywhere. So to have this song basically scream, bring out what we could show and do, it's powerful.
It's like it's saying there's this hidden depth, this color just waiting to burst out. If only things weren't so gray.
So, like, are we the problem? I mean, is it us holding ourselves back? Or is it the world kind of forcing us to be gray?
That's the question, isn't it? Are we limiting ourselves out of fear? Or are there genuine external pressures keeping us from expressing our true colors, so to speak?
Deep stuff. And it really makes you think, what would it take to break free? And what would that even look like for each of us?
It's a journey of self-discovery, isn't it? Figuring out what makes you you in a world that often feels content with shades of gray.
So, listeners, while you ponder that, consider this. If you could break free, ditch the grayscale, what would your color be? Something to think about.
It's just a big grayscale world. It'll always be that way. No matter what you say, it'll always be a grayscale world today and every day. Why can't we have something different? Why can't we have something different and new? So we can bring out what we could show and do. In a grayscale world, black and white are time. A twilight zone world, we sang as our guide. No way, no how. Never, 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 ever different for you than what we always do.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation.
Working from everywhere, here I go. Working from everywhere, here I go.
We're looking at the remote work list here.
Yeah.
And it's very clear. Tech and healthcare.
Wow.
Booming. Like absolutely booming for remote workers.
I mean, that makes sense.
Right. And we're not just talking about like your average run-of-the-mill software developer.
Right. We're talking high-level positions, senior product managers, data scientists. I even saw a listing for a psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Really?
Making over $100,000 working from home.
Wow.
It's wild.
So what's driving all of this? Like why these sectors in particular?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
For tech, I think it's kind of the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the work can be done independently. You need those strong digital skills, which obviously lend themselves very well to remote work.
Right.
And honestly, I think a lot of tech companies were some of the first to kind of adopt remote work policies, so they have a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, they were ahead of the curve.
Exactly. No, healthcare. The pandemic really accelerated things.
Oh, for sure.
Telehealth services just exploded in popularity, and all of a sudden you have this huge demand for professionals who can provide care remotely.
Right. Makes sense.
So we're talking therapists, nurses, even specialists who can, consult with patients virtually.
Yeah. So interesting how like an event like that can just completely change the landscape of an entire industry.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just tech gigs that are going remote.
Right.
I mean, I'm seeing listings on Remote Work RI for Corporate Counsel Director of Finance.
Really? Wow.
Oh, I mean, the possibilities really do seem pretty limitless.
So what does all of this mean for like the average person listening right now?
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways that we should really be thinking about?
Well, I would say the biggest takeaway is that remote work is creating some incredible opportunities.
Yeah.
Especially for people who want flexibility and high earning potential.
Right.
Those are kind of the two biggest perks. Think about the roles that we've talked about today. Do any of those align with your skills?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe with a career path that you've been thinking about?
Right.
I mean, this could be the perfect time to really explore those options and figure out if a remote career is the right fit for you.
Yeah. I think this is a really exciting time to be thinking about this because it's almost like these geographical barriers are just
absolutely
dissolving.
Yeah.
You can work for companies anywhere in the world.
And it just opens up the competition too. So you're not just limited to the jobs that are available in your city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, with this whole shift in how we work, with these geographical limitations kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
How do you think this is going to impact career choices?
Yeah.
And just like the future of work in general.
Oh, man.
The big question.
That is the question, isn't it? I mean, it's really hard to say for certain.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something worth thinking about.
Yeah.
It's definitely an exciting time to be entering the workforce.
Yeah.
Or even to be considering a career change.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into this world of high-paying remote work.
Yeah, this was great.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights. And thanks to all of you for listening. We hope this has kind of sparked some inspiration, and maybe you'll consider the possibilities of remote work for yourself. So, until next time.
Working from everywhere, here I go. Entertaining dreams, let them flow. The world of screens that bright. Musical magic comes alive.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation.
In old Provincetown, a tale we tell of Roger Williams, where he once did dwell.
All right, so, we've been getting some really interesting stuff sent our way lately, and this one's a doozy. We're talking Roger Williams, Rhode Island, and, well, let's just say his burial story isn't exactly your run-of-the-mill historical anecdote.
It's certainly a unique one, that's for sure. And it all comes back to an apple tree, believe it or not.
An apple tree.
You heard that right?
Okay, so most folks, I think, know Roger Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a big deal, right? Founding Rhode Island, advocating for religious freedom, separation of church and state. big ideas, especially back then.
Yeah, definitely ahead of his time. A lot of the principles we take for granted today, he was fighting for them back in the 1600s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When they tried to, give him a proper memorial back in 1860, things took a bit of a turn.
Let's just say they uncovered something a little more unexpected. During the relocation process, they stumbled upon an apple tree root that had actually grown through his grave.
Hold on. A root.
Uh-huh.
Through his grave.
And get this, it had taken on the shape of his skeleton.
Whoa, like mimicking his bones.
Exactly. It's almost like something out of a Gothic novel or something. This root had split and curved where his bones would have been.
So they found a root shaped like a skeleton in Roger Williams' grave.
It's pretty wild, right? And it really makes you think, this man dedicated his life to freedom, pushing boundaries, and even in death, he's still kind of doing that, Nature, in a way, reclaimed him, made him a part of this incredible, almost poetic image.
Okay, so we have to talk about this root, right? I mean, what happened to it, this skeleton root? Did they just, toss it aside?
Oh, no, they recognized its significance right away. The Rhode Island Historical Society actually preserved it.
Wow.
And you can actually see it today. It's on display at the John Brown House in Providence. Pretty amazing, huh?
That's incredible. Okay, so we've got this, root relic, and it's in a museum.
Yeah.
But this brings up another question. Why was Roger Williams buried someplace where an apple tree could even grow through his grave in the first place? I mean, wasn't he a pretty prominent figure?
Right, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, his beliefs, especially about the separation of church and state. Back then, Providence didn't have public burial grounds, not in the way we think of them today.
Because of Williams.
Because of his advocacy, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was buried on his own property, and after his house collapsed, the site fell into neglect.
So the champion of religious freedom ends up with a basically forgotten grave, and then when they try to move him, they find a tree growing through his remains. Is that ironic? Is that the right word?
It's definitely thought-provoking. So they start this process of relocating his remains, and what do they find? Just fragments, really. Bone fragments, teeth, some nails. Oh, and the root, of course. Can't forget that. But yeah, not a whole lot to work with. So one of the prominent figures in the community at the time, Zachariah Allen, took it upon himself to, gather soil from the original gravesite.
Soil.
Yeah, soil, where Williams was originally buried. And that soil, it was placed in a mausoleum in North Burial Ground. That's been Providence's main cemetery since 1700.
So Williams has this kind of symbolic resting place in the park, right? But the soil from his original burial it's in the cemetery.
Exactly.
That's kind of beautiful in a way, like a pilgrimage almost. You can visit the memorial in the park, see the root at the John Brown House, and then pay respects at the mausoleum.
A real journey through his legacy.
So back to this root, this unconventional artifact, if you will. What can we learn from all this? I mean, it's not every day you hear a story about a tree growing through a historical figure's remains.
It really makes you think about how we remember and honor those who came before us, right? Statues, memorials, written words, and now an apple tree root. It's a powerful reminder that nature has its own way of interacting with history, with our human attempts to make sense of the past.
It makes you wonder what Roger Williams himself would have thought about all this. I mean, it's almost too perfect, isn't it? The man who fought for religious freedom intertwined with nature in this incredibly striking way.
It certainly adds another layer to his story, doesn't it? And it asks a bigger question, I think. How do natural processes, things we can't control, intersect with our efforts to remember and honor the people who shaped our world?
Big questions.
Yeah.
So for all our listeners out there, if you ever find yourselves in Providence, Rhode Island, take some time to visit these places. The John Brown House, Prospect Terrace Park. See that root for yourself. And who knows, maybe you'll come up with your own interpretation of what it all means.
That's the beauty of history, isn't it? It's always open to interpretation.
Roger Williams, an apple tree, and a whole lot of questions about legacy and memory. That's our deep dive for today.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Laid to rest on his own land's humble plot, but time and earth had another plan in thought. Oh, the apple tree root, it grew big and tall. Through Roger's grave, it claimed it all. Twisting where he twisted, branching like his spine, the tree found life in the founder's line. When they dug him up, In 1860 found not his bones, but roots aplenty, a wooden spectre in the shape of a man, nature's embrace where history began. Oh, the apple tree root, it grew big and tall, through Roger's grave it claimed it all. Twisting where he twisted, branching like his spine, the tree found life in the founder's line. Now the root rests where it can be seen, in the John Brown house with the historical sheen, a legacy of roots, of rights and of land. Roger's soul lives on in spirit and stand. So gather round and hear this tale we sing, of roots and freedom and the growth it can bring. Roger Williams entwined in apple wood, a tale of Providence grand and good.
Grayscale World Radio, America's first musical about design, creativity, and innovation.
This gallery passport. It's happening in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
And it's this really cool idea that's kind of like a treasure hunt through the art scene.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, like, is this really as brilliant as it sounds?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a unique idea.
Yeah.
And I really like this idea of a physical passport booklet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you go around to all the different galleries and you get a stamp from each one.
Yeah, like a real, like, custom rubber stamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a tangible record of your art journey.
Yeah, and I think that would really encourage people to, like, go to multiple galleries.
Totally. I mean, who doesn't love collecting stamps?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'd be way more likely to, like, go off the beaten path and check out some of the smaller galleries that you might not even know about. Right. That's what I was wondering, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this mainly benefit the, like, big name galleries that everyone already knows about?
Well, that's where the design of the passport is really important.
Right.
You know, it needs to include a really diverse range of galleries.
Yeah.
So, you know, from those well-established big ones to the smaller independent spaces, you know, the hidden gems and that kind of exposure for emerging artists and those smaller venues. That could be huge.
Absolutely.
So it could actually, like, level the playing field a little bit.
Right.
Well.
And I saw they're also doing this discount card thing, too.
Oh, yeah.
Reduced entry fees, discounts on merchandise.
Nice.
Even, like, invites to exclusive events.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love a good deal?
Right.
Especially when it comes to art.
Especially with art, yeah.
But I'm a little fuzzy on how the discount thing actually works.
Yeah.
Is it like a fixed discount or is it more dynamic?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
They haven't really released all the specifics about that just yet. But there are a few different models they could use.
Okay.
Maybe a percentage-based discount that's the same at all the galleries.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe each gallery gets to offer its own unique perk.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, like one gallery might offer 10% off. Another one might give you a free tote bag with the purchase, you know, something like that.
But then what about the galleries that already have their own discount programs?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Would those just be excluded?
Well, they'd need to figure out a way to make it fair for everybody.
Right.
So maybe a tiered system, you know, where galleries can choose how much they want to participate.
Interesting.
And what kind of discounts they offer.
Okay.
You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that way everybody's included.
And this is more than just about tourism and discounts, right?
Right.
They're also starting a local artists fund.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes, it is.
And basically, a portion of the money from this whole thing goes right back to the artist community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great.
Yeah. That's a fantastic way to, like, support the art scene and make sure it keeps thriving.
Exactly. And I think it's so smart how they're not just, you know, throwing money at the problem.
Right.
It's about, like, strategically using that money
exactly
to help artists and build a stronger community.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, I remember one time I went to this artists open studio event and they were having this big sale.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up getting this limited edition print for like a steal.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have even known about it if my friend hadn't dragged me along.
Yeah.
You know? But it made me think, like, how are they going to get the word out about this gallery passport thing?
Right.
Like, how do they make it easy for people to participate?
I think having a really easy-to-use website or app would be key.
Yeah.
You know, imagine like an interactive map that shows you all the participating galleries, where they're located, what kind of events they have coming up, and maybe even like a preview of their discounts.
That's smart.
Yeah. So it'd be like a one-stop shop for exploring the Providence art scene.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've